And just like that, you wait all summer and Villa drop a stinker. That's right, we drew 0-0 with Newcastle. We're going to be reviewing that game today, going through the bite-sized highlights, which are 2 minutes long. And to be honest with you, I'm surprised they've managed to pull 2 minutes of highlights out of this game. A game we came into it with so much hope at Villa Park, new season. There's been so much negativity around the club, which has continued on after the game because of the off-field, the transfers, the PSR stuff. It felt like Villa needed a pick-me-up, and it definitely was not that. We're also going to be doing the player ratings, talking through the team, how I would change it as well as we look forward to this week's game. All that good stuff coming up. If you are enjoying the video, please be sure to go down, leave a like, comment down below your thoughts on the Newcastle game, and subscribe because we are way on the road to 4,000 Aston Villa legends on the channel, and I can't do that without you guys. But first, another special announcement. Let's go. As some of you may have seen, and I'll pop it up on the screen now, we have our own FPL League. I literally only plugged it in one video, last video, so fair enough. But already, there's 6 people in it. As you can see, I finished dead third. I'm going to go into my team. This is what I'd done last week, and let me tell you, boys, I had a bit of a stinker. To be Trafford, Aït-Nouri and Saliba done well, but Frimpong let me down, and Florian Wirtz, what's he doing? And then I did actually go for Ollie Watkins as well. And João Pedro, I don't know why I captained him. I had a feeling that Chelsea were going to come out the blocks hard. But that managed me 59 points. I'm currently dead middle of the league. I'll put the code up on the screen now. If you want to join the Rogers Reports Classic, then be sure to go over to your FPL app, enter that code, join the league, and compete against me and the rest of the Villa legends on this channel. Right, plug over, let's go. Villa versus Newcastle. And I'll put it up on screen, as you can see there, the stats of the game. Now, the stat that ultimately matters in this game is the fact that it was 0-0. We took a point at home against a Champions League club in Newcastle who have had their own off-the-field issues, missing their star man in Alexander Isak. And the stats, you know, they paint probably an accurate-ish picture of the game, right? We had 3 shots total, all 3 on target. I would happily tell you right now that of those 3 shots, there must have been a combined XG, and I'll try and find the XG of this game a little bit later on in the video, of about 0.05 for Aston Villa. We did not threaten that Newcastle goal in the absolute slightest, in my opinion. Whereas Newcastle had 15 shots, so they, 5x'd our shots that we had, I think. My maths is awful, so please, mathematicians, call me out if I did get that wrong. But they had 15 shots in total, but they only had 4 shots on target. And let me tell you, Newcastle was so wasteful in this game. So many shots going in to row Z. So many shots probably landing in small heaps. They were that far off target. They really were wasteful and spurnful with their chances. Now, possession-wise, they had a little bit more than us, edged us with 56%. Fouls and yellow cards, I'm not too worried about. Obviously, the one red card, we're going to be talking about it a little bit later on. Konsa red card. Stupid decision from him. We're going to talk about Matty Cash, don't worry. But I'm a big Konsa fan. His shirt is right behind me on the wall. But it just seemed like a ridiculous decision. But then again, split second hindsight's a beautiful thing, isn't it? What would we have done in that situation when you have Anthony Gordon, one of the quickest players in the league, in front of you, bearing down on goal? I don't think he realised he had Tyrone Mings there on the cover, who was our fastest player in that game, surprisingly. And to be fair, Gordon's touch took him slightly off centre to the goal anyway. But a red card was a red card. And when you take in the red card to account, the possession kind of is all right. Only conceding 4% possession to a Newcastle team that have one of the best midfields in the Premier League when you have 10 men for a solid amount of the game. Probably when it comes to get sent off 65th minute, it's not too bad. They doubled us in corner kicks. And BIZOT, who was fantastic, we're going to get into the player ratings as well a little bit later on, had to make one more save than Nicolas Pope. Quick one, recording this in case it doesn't work and I get copyright striked. I am going to try and go through the highlights. If they're not on the screen in the next segment, blame the Premier League corruptly. But player ratings, and by the way, I think I actually got the team sheet pretty spot on in the preview if you want to go and have a look at what I actually predicted. But let's go through the player ratings for this game. We're going to start it off strong with Marco BIZOT. And for the first game in the Premier League, 34 years of age, first game for Villa at Villa Park, down to 10 men, high pressure game, having to make early saves. He was so commanding of his area. He came out, he claimed crosses, punched the ball to oblivion. I'm going to have to give him 10. He's my man of the match. Easily. I don't think there's anyone that comes close, in fact. But I'm going to have to give him 10 because he just didn't put a foot wrong. Didn't put a foot wrong. He was wily with the ball as well, using every trick in the book to circumvent the 8-second rule and keep the ball slowed down, especially when we were at 10 men. BIZOT didn't put a foot wrong. Easily my man of the match. Now, Matty Cash, I'm going to have to give a 5. It would have been a 2, but he did make a few, I suppose, half decent blocks that game. I don't understand any of the decision making of Matty Cash going forward. He either won't put the ball into the box, and maybe that's why he doesn't put the ball into the box, because it was one of the worst blind crosses I've ever seen. And because everyone had adapted for him playing as a right winger, we were exposed in the middle, and it led to a red card. Ultimately changed the game. Now, Konsa, I can't excuse it. 2, did get sent off. You could argue he didn't have a choice. You could also argue, why didn't he just try and put Gordon off as much as he can and trust his goalkeeper in BIZOT? Trust that maybe Villa could score a goal later on in the game, even though we hadn't threatened the Newcastle goal really at all that game. But ultimately he did get sent off, so I can't give him higher than a 2. Now, Tyrone Mings, I'm going to give an 8. Came in when I don't think anyone thought he would be playing. I thought everyone just assumed that Pau Torres, Emery's golden child, wouldn't be dropped to the bench, but he was. But Tyrone Mings gets an 8 for me. Didn't put a foot wrong. Was probably our best defender on the pitch. Just doing Tyrone Mings things. His passing actually wasn't that bad either this game as well. Didn't dilly-dally on the ball. So he gets an 8. Luca Digne, a very, very quiet game. Didn't really have much to do. Didn't really do much at all. Dealt with Elanga half okay, I guess. Did let him through early on in the game. So he gets a 6 for me. Onana and Kamara, I'm going to give 6s to. I think the Newcastle midfield did get the better of the game. And everyone in the team just looked a little bit off of it today. McGinn, I'm going to give a 7. Tenacity is John McGinn's middle name, I believe. Legally, if you go up to Scotland and look at sort of the birth records, it will be John Tenacity McGinn, because he was everywhere, covered every blade of grass, putting in great tackles, using his bum in only a way that John McGinn can, and did put in the best ball of the game for Villa into the box for Kamara, but ultimately did go straight into Nick Pope's arms, as you did see. But, you know, like I say, he was just everywhere. A typical John McGinn performance. Now, Tielemans, this one pains me, but I'm going to have to give a 4 to Tielemans. Typically, he is smooth. He is a bit of a James Bond character on the ball. But, I mean, this is for the whole squad, the whole 11 as a total. Our passing was absolutely woeful against Newcastle. And Tielemans was very, very guilty of that as well. Gave the ball away a lot. It wasn't a typical Yuri Tielemans performance. But talking about typical performances, Rodgers, I'm going to have to give a 2. I don't know what has happened to Morgan Rodgers over like the last sort of 5 to 10 games I've seen him play for Villa. But he has just looked really sloppy, awful, gets tackled really, really easily at the moment, gives the ball away every other possession, and he really needs to up his game. I know he was injured for the last 2 games of pre-season. Perhaps he came into this game not fully fit, but that was a terrible performance. And talking of terrible performances, I'm going to give Watkins a 3. He tricked me. He tricked me into putting him into my FPL, right? Making him my star striker for FPL, splashing the 9 million on him, because he looked sharp in pre-season with all the goals. He comes in here, he can't hold a ball up, his first touch is crap again, and he can't pass. Why does he do this to us? Now, ultimately, it leaves the Premier League table looking a little bit like this. Aston Villa sit dead in the middle on 1 point. Now, other teams that did get draws on the weekend is Brighton, Fulham, Chelsea, Palace, obviously Newcastle as well, getting the draws there. No real surprises in game week 1. Manchester City looked absolutely awesome. I would say that Sunderland winning 3-0 for me wasn't a surprise, because they've had a fantastic transfer window. Tottenham looked really, really strong, as I thought they would under Thomas Frank. Liverpool a bit shaky, but got the win. Nottingham Forest and Arsenal as well getting the wins. Maybe Leeds United were the one outliers there. United obviously losing, Bournemouth as well, but they looked really, really good against Liverpool, who everyone thought would just blitz the league with their transfer window. And Brentford, obviously, one to mention because Brentford will be the next team that we play. And they didn't look that fantastic against Forest. So hopefully we can have a better game week 2. And there you have it. Villa didn't play well. We've had to sell Jacob Ramsey. Leon Bailey's gone. We have zero pace in the team up front. We have not much creativity because Rodgers and Tielemans are off of it. Donyell Marlon can't buy a start if his life depended on it. It's all doom and gloom. We need something, hopefully, before the Brentford game to brighten us up a little bit. If not, I'll see you guys. Well, there is a bit of transfer news that I'll try and cover on the channel. Nothing groundbreaking, to be honest with you, but we will obviously be back for the Brentford preview on Thursday or Friday, one of the two. So I hope you are enjoying the content. Up the Villa, guys. I'll see you soon.